Alright guys, so today what we're going to be talking about is how to scale our reps. Now what we mean by that specifically is in a pacing way, okay? Not scaling our reps down as far as how many, but scaling it down as far as time constraints, okay? So there's different ways that you can actually approach doing something. And we're going to show some examples in this, but when we're thinking about doing a longer or shorter workout, kind of where we're going to go as far as our pacing goes, and there's reasons for that, okay? We don't really always want to come out doing a clean or a snatch or double unders or wall balls as fast as we can. Sometimes we want to actually slow the reps down, and I'll show you why in some examples coming up. So I'll show you the clean, I'll show you the wall ball, and I'll show you the pull-up, and I'll show you how these different things kind of look and some key ways to kind of slow them down maybe so that we can gain some energy on the back end. And I'll explain all of the necessary medical stuff as far as physiology and why that is and what the case may be, and then we'll go over some of that stuff coming up. Okay, so I'm going to show you two different types of ways to do wall balls. The first one I'm going to do is slower, okay? So this is when you want to do when you're doing a workout like Karen, where you're doing 150 wall balls. It's going to take you a bit of time, and you're just trying to move at a steadier pace. Now the reason we're going to do this is it might take a little bit more time, and you'll see it'll end up being around 4.6 to 5.3 seconds, somewhere around there as far as turnaround per reps. And then on the shorter end, we're really not going to save that much time. But by doing it a little bit faster in a workout that maybe we only have 10 total that we need to get through versus doing a workout where we have 150, we can kind of save ourselves in different ways, okay? Especially our legs, our shoulders, and our upper back and neck. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of those now. We're going to start with the slow one, and then I'll show you the fast one. Now you guys can see from the first one, it was a much easier, slower, steadier pace. I was really just worried about squatting down in a nice, slow, easy way, throwing the ball up there, letting it hit wherever it wanted to, and it'll come back down and I'll grab it and I'll go ahead and go about my way doing the same thing. Now on the second one where I was trying to move faster, there's a lot of different things going on. So A, I'm worried about the placement of where I throw the ball. So you can see a couple times where I actually threw the ball too hard and it skipped up and then had some extra hang time. That's not something I want. Really what I want to try to do is get a little bit of a top spin on it so that as I'm throwing it at the target, it's bouncing and coming straight back to me, okay? The other thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to squat a lot faster. So I'm trying to grab the ball out of the air, pull it down in myself, and then make that turnaround as quick as possible. The more I can do that, the more time I can shave off. But again, this is when you're doing a short workout like Fran, where seconds matter. Okay? The difference between first and third might be 5-6 seconds, and you can shave that off in doing 10 reps of a wall ball a lot faster than someone else can. Okay? But this again is only for shorter workouts. The slower one is a much easier pace. You can do that for something like Karen. Alright, so now we're going to go over cleans. Now cleans can be a little bit different, okay? The wall balls are really like a static weight that you're really going to get. You're going to get a 14, a 20, a 30. Very rarely are you going to get something heavier than any of those. With weightlifting movements specifically, and even kettlebell movements, you're looking at a lot of different weight scales, okay? So there could be something heavy, there could be something light, there could be something in the middle range, okay? But really what we're looking at is we're looking for workouts where we're doing way less than 50% of our best, okay? And really anytime you're doing a Metcon where you're looking to kind of race for time or do something like that, you're looking at doing weights typically lower than 50% of your best. And the reason being is that you can cycle those weights safely, way better than you can with something a lot heavier. Now, if it's a feat of strength or a test of strength, typically you're looking at a lot of lower reps. So you're not looking at 30, 40, 50, 60 reps. If you look for the most part, 135 is well below 50% for most of the athletes that are doing 135 in a workout. If you're looking at your best clean being 185 and you're doing 135 at a Metcon, you really want to think about what you're doing, because then what's happening is then you're taking your energy that would typically go into doing the clean and you're putting it into your brain so that you can do something properly, which does two things. It makes you more tired and it slows you down, which typically will mean that you'll miss kind of like the idea of the workout. So you really want to be thinking about that. So the first thing we're going to do is some slow cleans, just some ones that I would do normally in a workout where I'm going to be doing 60 cleans, something like that, where I'm moving at a slow, nice, consistent pace. Nothing crazy. I'm just trying to work my way through it nice and slow and just kind of nice and smooth, and just kind of get through the reps that I need to get through without really taking too much time. And I'm going to be doing power cleans, okay? After I get done that, we'll talk about it again, and we'll just kind of show you some like little wrinkles in there, and then I'll show you guys how I would do it at more of a faster pace. All right, so we can see it moving at that pace, some different things that I did. I didn't move my feet. I went unbroken. I completely like re-grabbed the bar, came down, nice and easy. And you can see I was pretty much letting gravity do the work. I wasn't yanking the bar up. I was using my legs and hip motion for the most part to generate all that power to bring the bar back down. When I wanted to bring it back down, simply rolled my shoulders off, re-grip nice and easy, hit those thighs, back down to the ground. Now I would only do those about sets of 10 probably at this weight. Just moving nice and continuous through, not trying to really force anything to happen. The technique was pretty good. I kept my chest up when I caught it. When I went back down, I made sure I dropped my butt. I reset my arms. I wasn't bending with arms. So it was really like a good set that looked nice and easy. It should look very effortless. Now we're gonna look at the fast ones. All right, so you probably see the difference there. I didn't make any contact with my legs. I was bending my arms and using my arms. I had a really, really, really big hip crease, meaning I wasn't really bending my knees too much, and I was pushing the bar down towards the ground really, really fast. You can see how fast I did it too. It's going to take a significant amount of time left. You're wondering, why does it matter? Well, we're about to explain that now. All right, guys, so on this one, I'm gonna show you guys the pull-ups. I'm gonna do some slow to start, and then I'm gonna go right into the fast ones. What I really want you guys to take a look at is take a look at the three big joints that are going on, okay? The shoulder, the hip, and the ankle. Just the ankle because the knee doesn't really matter all that much, but take a look at it. And what I want you guys to see and take a note of is how big those movements are. Are they really, really large, or are they really, really small, okay? And then we'll talk about those after. All right, so if you guys were paying attention, you probably saw a big difference. So when we're doing nice, slow, easy, steady pull-ups, everything's a little bit bigger, okay? We're looking for more time in between reps, really, okay? So I'm looking to engage, kind of float. I realize that I'm a lot smaller than everybody, but still, you're gonna float, because once you put in that effort, gravity works the same for everyone, no matter how heavy or light you are. We all fall at the same rate. I'm not even gonna say it, because I was gonna say what it is, but I don't remember. So we're all gonna fall at the same rate, okay? So I'm extending, I'm engaging, I'm falling, and I'm letting myself come down. In the faster ones, there is no rest. I'm pulling up and I'm pushing myself back down at a really, really, really fast rate. If you want to see an extreme version of this, look up this little guy called Irving Hernandez. He did grid a few years back. Very short, but I think he was averaging at least 2 pull-ups every single second. So and they were chest to bar, I want to say. So he is moving extremely fast, but the way he does that is he's actively pulling up and pushing himself down. And you can see that big swing between my shoulders and my ankles got tighter and tighter the faster and faster I went. And that's because you're basically going like this, okay? Moving at a faster rate, pushing yourself down, as opposed to this, okay? Think of a train. Remember the old train cars back in the day? That's how you're moving. The tighter that is, the faster it's moving. The bigger it is, the bigger the wheel, the slower that lever is moving, okay? So now what we're going to talk about is all the other things and how they all line up. So let's continue on and get back to it. All right, so what's going on in the system is a couple different things. So we have this thing called fast twitch muscle fiber in layman's terms, and slow twitch muscle fiber. There are type 1 and type 2 or type 1A, I can't really remember now. When I learned it, it was just fast and slow, and meso. So what we have is we have fast and we have slow, okay? When we're using those fast twitch muscle fibers, and when we're using any muscle fibers for that matter, what we're using and consuming is called ATP, adenine triphosphate. And that's the energy store of the muscle, okay, of the cell. So what happens is when we're using those fast twitch fibers, it uses a ton of ATP because you're trying to move quick. So what's happening is the contractions are fuller, meaning the muscles that you're using to a full extent, and you're using them a lot more, okay? You're using them more often. So that's why when you do a rep and you're like trying to get 3 out really quick, your heart rate spikes because it's trying to get blood and oxygen to those muscles so that they can, kind of get their breath back and build more ATP. Now, when you're using those slow twitch muscle fibers, okay, what's happening is they're not really specific. So it's not like all of your quad is firing at once. It's like a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, maybe some here. But it doesn't use a whole lot of ATP. And what it does is it uses the ATP in these little areas first, and then the next contraction, because it's a long time later in relation, it goes to these muscles, these little fibers here, and it fires those. And then when you go to your next rep, it goes back to these. And meanwhile, all those little different cells are building their ATP back up, okay? So you can go for a longer duration without feeling super tired, without your heart rate spiking super high. That's why heart rate monitors are really, really cool and kind of crucial, is because it can keep you in that range that you're still able to build ATP. Now, if you're doing a super fast workout, again, where reps matter, it's a low number of reps, usually under like 45, I would say, or 55, you're gonna move at a significantly faster pace because you're trying to beat the other person. If you're doing a workout that's like Cindy, where you're going for a long period of time, you kind of want to slow those reps down, just like we did in the pull-ups, and kind of just take our time. Not really worried about how fast we're going, but how many muscle fibers we're using. Are we breathing while we're doing the exercise? Which is another thing that we'll cover in an upcoming video, which is breathing while exercising. So I hope this was kind of informative for you guys. I hope you guys got to see a little bit of a different wrinkle into how to exercise. Again, like, subscribe, follow our page. You can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram. You guys can always come into the gym here at Prodigy Fitness. And we hope to see you guys soon. If you have any questions or comments, leave in the comment section below. And then you guys can go ahead and rip me a new one for this hair. Have a good one.